My name is Bruce Henriksen, and as you likely know, I serve as the S.T.A.R coordinator. The purpose of this presentation is to help each person who is serving as a reviewer for S.T.A.R in each county and/or soil and water conservation district. S.T.A.R is centered on the use of a field form that is completed based on the practices used in farming individual fields. Ideally, anyone who completes a form would also read the FAQ document that provides many instructions and explanations of how to best complete the field form. We know most participants do not bother to look at that item, so it's especially important that you, as a reviewer, are familiar with it. The FAQ not only helps explain how to complete the form, it also provides many of the reasons why the questions are asked and why certain practices are promoted. As you likely know, there are a number of ways a farmer or landowner can access the application process to participate in S.T.A.R. This website, www.starfreetool.com, provides access to the three methods and explains each choice, and is available using a computer, tablet, or smartphone. Some still prefer to use a hard copy of the form available at that website or available in your offices. A second method is the fillable PDF form, also available here, or it can be emailed to a participant upon request from you or from me. A significant advantage of this method is the use of completing the form for multiple fields, as some information is the same on every field for a particular participant, especially for the same crop. The third method is to use the PCM portal, which was by far the most popular method used for the 2019 crop year. Precision Conservation Management is a program sponsored by the Illinois corn growers. Anyone who wants to participate in S.T.A.R can register for free into the PCM system and complete the information for fields without being a PCM client. Easy access, again, is available at the S.T.A.R Free Tool website. A major advantage of using this system is because you can use it with a smartphone. Before a participant uses any of these methods, we hope the person contacts your local soil and water district to learn if the district is licensed. If they are not located in a licensed county, anyone is welcome to use their choice of these methods and work directly with me or with a neighboring county. By the way, the PCM portal use will still require someone to review the entries. There is a separate training program that will help you learn how to review those entries. For this training program, I will use the same example that was used in the audio-visual video program that is available on the starfreetool.com website. The example for the fictional name of Steve Joseph is completely made up. As I began this program, I encourage you to have a copy of the new field form and the score sheet available to observe. This is the fillable PDF form, completed with the same information as on that hard copy. This is the first page of the sample form with fake entries for a cornfield. After completing those important items of information, the participant must sign the form. If the submission is a hard copy, it's a simple signature. If the fillable PDF is used, there is a process to use a digital signature. A new question added this year is to indicate whether the field is tiled or not. There are no points for that question, but that information will help a technician offer suggestions for improving the practices for that field. The spreadsheet asks for those basic items, including the county where the field is located, the full name of the participant, the field's name or designation, the acreage, and the crop for 2020. Those items must be typed in, but the question for tiling, as you can see in this drop-down box, are simply the yes or no choices. After completing those important items of information, the first section to actually identify practices used is Section 9. In that section, Steve Joseph indicated a number of conservation and management practices that can be very positive, even if they do not all directly reduce nutrient and/or soil losses or improve soil health. Be reminded that any and all practices should be a part of or use on that specific field. The first 7 items on the list are worth 2 points each. The Science Committee recognizes that those items, many of which are edge of field practices, indicate an effort to better manage for conservation practices. Steve got 2 points because that specific field had a grass waterway. Throughout this presentation, I will be showing you the spreadsheet that you will be using for scoring and how the various entries should be made for submissions. The score sheet for all of these choices includes a drop-down box for each. For example, here you see the drop-down box showing the choices of 2 or 0 points for the waterway. Every drop-down box in the entire spreadsheet includes the number of possible points with one choice as 0. The reason for the choice of 0 is that if you are scoring multiple fields for a particular participant, there may be small differences between fields that need to be corrected. For example, this field has a waterway, but another field for that participant could have exactly the same entries, but has no waterway. After saving the score sheet for the first field, one can easily adjust the practice or practices for the second field. In this example, you would just alter the score from 2 to 0, and then save that for the second field. As we look back to other practices on the example field form, 1 point is given to each of these other items in that section. He cares enough about conservation and potential nutrient losses that he attended a nutrient management meeting within the last year. He also worked with his retailer, who is a certified crop advisor, to develop a nutrient management plan for 2020. He was given 1 point for each of those. Notice in the heading of that section that the maximum possible points for this entire section is only 8 points. The A20 cell shown here in the bottom of shows the subtotal of that section and will automatically limit the points to that total. As you see in this example, I already used the drop downs to enter the 1 point for those other 2 items, and the total of that section then was summarized automatically, and that is that 4 points. Section 10 is the section where Steve indicates his crop rotation over the last 5 years, and that he has been using an alternating corn and soybean rotation. The drop-down on the score sheet shows that 2 points would be awarded. If the rotation is similar, but includes 2 years in a row of one crop, such as corn, corn, beans, corn, beans, 2 points would still be given. However, if there are 3 consecutive years of the same crop, such as beans, corn, 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 beans, 0 points are awarded. If a small grain, such as wheat, was included within the last 5 years, that earns 5 points. The points are cumulative, so if the rotation was corn, beans, wheat, beans, corn, the total would be 7 for that section. The same rules apply if there is a double crop included. If a forage, such as hay, was included in the 5-year rotation, at least 1 year, that's given 5 points. If the field is in pasture at least 1 year, that earns 5 points. But if the field was in pasture all 5 years, the total points would be 5. This section has a maximum of 12 points. Steve has no cover crops, so nothing would be altered in section 11 of the score sheet for this example. If cover crops were used, the Science Committee simplified the choices this year. They also clarified that a cover crop for 2020 may have been interseeded during the summer of the previous year. If a single species of a winter hardy cover crop was planted, 7 points would be awarded. If 2 or more species of the winter hardy are planted, the next item would be checked for 10 points. You would not check both of those, only one, as noted on the score sheet. Similarly, if a single species of a winter kill cover crop was planted, the drop-down would be given a choice of 2 points. But if 2 or more species of winter kill were used, the next item on the list would be instead identified for the 3 points. Again, you would not select both of those items. What if the field had 2 or more winter hardy species and 2 or more winter kill species? That would be 10 points plus 3 points, but there's a maximum of 12 points for this section. A special note, if winter wheat was planted in the fall of 2019, the participants should be given credit for a winter hardy cover crop as well as affect the crop rotation points. Likewise, if the field was in forage or pasture in the fall of 2019, that would be required checking a winter hardy cover crop. The last item in that section is where you should check or award 2 points if the cover crop was terminated after the spring 2020 cash crop was planted, often called planting green. Section 12 for Steve was an indication that he had soil samples taken and tested every 4 years or less for that field, using GPS for the locations. If the participant pulled the samples but used GPS for the locations, that still counts. The score sheet will be marked appropriately, and the auto sum will be 4 points. If the not sampled is checked, there would be 0 points for the entire section. Notice on the score sheet that sampling in the spring or summer is worth 1 point, compared to sampling in the fall that would be given 0 points. Steve used some tillage in the fall. Specifically, the tool he used resulted in no more than 3 inches of depth. The score sheet section would have 1 point, noted as shown here. If the tillage pass is deeper than 3 inches, that action would be scored as 0 points. However, it is assumed that Steve did that shallow tillage on soybean stubble, and that is considered so egregious that minus 3 points are recorded in the score sheet. Also notice that if no tillage is used, the field would be awarded 5 points, and strip tillage would be given 3 points, but only if that field was not highly erodible land. Likewise, if strip tillage or a shank-type fertilizer bar was used in the fall, the field is given 3 points. Section 14 is for any spring tillage practices. Steve used no tillage in the spring, so he was given 5 points. If he used a fertilizer toolbar that was not a shank type, he would still get the 5 points. However, if he used strip tillage or a strip freshener on land that is not highly erodible, or if he used a shank type toolbar and no tillage was used in the spring other than those, then 3 points would still be awarded. In the spring, if there was any full width tillage operation, but was a single pass and no tillage was used in the fall, 1 point is given. The other 2 choices in this section account for any other type of tillage situation, and those would earn 0 points. Section 15 recognizes the nutrient management practices used in the fall and winter. Steve applied some DAP before December 1st and is given 1 point. If the application was after December 1st, it would earn 0 points. Steve used no other nitrogen fertilizer in this time period other than that DAP, so the practice earned 4 points. There are other choices in this section that are self-explanatory, including the addition of top dressing on wheat this year. Also note that the use of anhydrous ammonia in the fall can earn 1 point, but only if it amounts to less than 50% of the total nitrogen used, and if an inhibitor was used and the soil temperature was below 50 degrees. In addition, the application of any type of manure or biosolids were injected or broadcast and incorporated is given 1 point if the soil temperature was below 50 degrees. If 50 degrees or warmer, it would be 0 points. If the manure or biosolids were not incorporated, then the score is -1. Section 16 is where the spring and summer nutrient management practices are identified, and in this example, all the nitrogen other than the DAP was applied in the spring, so the field was given 2 points for each of the 2 items checked here. One is the fact that at least 75% of all nitrogen was applied in this time frame, and at least 25% of all nitrogen was side dressed in this time period. Notice that if no nitrogen was used at all in the spring or summer, it would earn 4 points. However, if it is a cornfield, no nitrogen in the spring means all the nitrogen was likely applied in the fall, so no points would be given here. Manure or biosolids applied in the spring or summer and injected or incorporated would earn 2 points, rather than just the 1 point in the fall period. The last section is where you would score any other nutrient-related practices not covered in the other 2 sections. Steve only applied 190 pounds per acre of nitrogen, so 2 points are awarded. If he applied more than 200 pounds per acre, there would be 0 points. But if he kept the amount below 180 pounds, the field would have been given 4 points. Notice the allowable amounts would be higher if the field was corn after corn. The other practice checked is where he has indicated that whatever phosphorus and potassium he has applied is either based on removal rates or is based on the soil test that was done. The rest of the practices listed are self-explanatory. However, notice the last practice listed. If any kind of fertilizer containing either nitrogen or phosphorus is applied to the field when it is frozen or snow-covered, that is considered a very bad practice, and there is a 6-point penalty. The cell showing 26 total points is automatically summed, and likewise, the number of stars will automatically show below it. The good news is that actually completing the score sheet for a field does not take nearly as long as this presentation. Usually 5 minutes is plenty of time. Once you have completed the scoring sheet for a field, there are several other things you need to do. It is critical that the farmer or landowner gets the field form back and receives the score sheet. That provides the person with a clear picture of not only what points were earned for practices used, but also provides what points could have been earned with alternative practices. That leads into the opportunity for you or someone else to offer technical support to analyze that field to help consider changes that can be made to improve the S.T.A.R score, and more importantly, to reduce nutrient and soil losses and to improve soil health. Please offer field signs to the participant, reminding them that they are free and sponsored by Farm Credit Illinois or Compeer Financial, depending on which group serves their market area. We believe that posting signs is one of the best methods to encourage others to use S.T.A.R, and also a great signal to send to the non-ag community that agriculture is trying to help the environment. Consider reminding the participant that their field may be randomly selected to be verified, but that will not happen until February. Lastly, you may want to use a cover letter and mail a hard copy of these to that person. I've used one and have found that to be effective and would be happy to share my version as a potential model for one for you. Just let me know if you want me to send a copy to you. You know your customers and clients best, and you will know who may prefer to receive an electronic version. I hope this program has and will help you in scoring the S.T.A.R field forms. Reminder, you will also be expected to review any submissions made through the PCM portal. And as I mentioned earlier, there is a separate program to help you learn how to do that process. If you have any questions, please contact me by email using star@ccswcd.com or my Parkland email address. If you prefer, please call our office at 217-352-3536 extension 3 and leave me a message, or even better, call or text my cell at 217-778-0272. Thanks very much for your cooperation and your encouragement.